Yo, it's a Saturday, I'm home, 6:30 chillin', surfing the internet to see what I'm feeling. Laying on Blog Talk, see what they dealin'. Came across the barbershop, stepped into the building. Real life sports talk, real entertainment. Mike Knox really keep his ear into the pavement. Finger on the pulse of the industry, save it. You don't like the way brag, you ain't gotta say shh. Listen anyway, every Thursday, him and Corey G, tell him what you trippin' on any day. Barbershop mixed with talk show, there we go. Give you the best damn show on the radio. $1 million audience meets with your favorite host. $1 million connections, feel a force. Most electric, most eclectic. Listen to the shows where the pros expected. 2 shows a week with an A-class guest list. The best damn show on the radio. Check this. The best damn show on the radio. Yo, it's the best damn show on the radio. Yo, it's the best damn show on the radio. Yo, it's the best damn show on the radio. Yo, it's the best damn show on the radio. Yo, it's the best damn show on the radio. Yo, it's the best damn show on the radio. Yo, it's the best damn show in radio.
Action in the ring, and there's some really amazing stuff that happens in the ring when it does get a chance to unfold. There's like some of the moves and stuff that I see. It's amazing stuff, and same old things still. You know, lack of recovery time for the wrestlers.
Absolutely.
Still getting hurt, and despite so much talk in the ring, you know, interviews and in my opinion, just I don't know. I guess I just grew up in a different
time and
yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
So,
speaking of that was good how you let me know. I had a question come in from a friend of mine over at WCC Radio. They're wrestling all the time here on Monday nights on the Best Damn Show on radio. Octavia had a question. He said, with your niece Natalia being the first female to come out of the Hearts to wrestle, it's like a 3-part question. Why didn't you guys, anybody, rest of your family, you know, your other sister, whatever, train to wrestle, or was it something that your father just was against you guys wrestling?
Well, actually, my mom was real. I guess my dad, because I learned some at wrestling from him. I probably would have been a good amateur wrestler if there had been just a little bit more of that happening in my era. I don't want to sound like I'm young here.
Right.
Betty Nicolai or one of these Betty Grable or no, well, who is that? Who's that? Not Betty Grable. Maybe it was Betty Grable, that lady wrestler that dated Elvis Presley. Anyway, Joyce Grable, not Betty Grable. Joyce Grable. She wasn't the one who dated Elvis Presley. I can't think of her name, but anyway, when I was growing up, I think I just missed things by a few years. I would have been, and I'm saying this and flattering myself, but I would have been really good for something like Cirque du Soleil, because I had these weird, had these little talents, and Owen had them too. We were really good little acrobats, and we were bigger than what was required for gymnastics. You know, we were too big for. But we were really good, like tree climbers and kind of like monkeys, and really good, funny feet. They're like our feet are like monkey's feet. And
anybody who want to know how Miss Diana Hart looks in the bedroom, remember she said here on the Best Damn Show Radio, she has feet like monkeys.
Yep, I can open doors with my feet. Just I can't open the right door.
Somebody's still gonna rub them feet for you, but it's okay. Right now, the lines are on fire. People are tweeting, I want to rub Miss Diana Hart's feet. Diana,
well,
this is something I've been wanting to know since I was younger. I'm gonna say a kid even. How real, if any, was the beef between Brett and Davey Boy during that time? Or was that all just a script? Or was there any point in time in that storyline was there actual real animosity?
Oh, yeah, there was. I mean, it was. I wouldn't say it was animosity as much as this competitive, definitely sincere competition there. And to the point that Brett didn't feel it was healthy for my mom and dad to fly all the way to England to see the show.
Right.
So I which I of course thought it was good, but it would have been good for them to go there and see England for one thing and see the match, but I didn't know who was going to win. I didn't know how it was going to end, and I understand that Vince knew the outcome but did not know how it was going to end because he wanted to be kept in suspense. So
it came off. It was one of the best matches I personally ever had a chance to see. It was really, really good. I always wanted to know how that came off and how real was it. And obviously you were cheering for your husband at the time. I can assume that.
Yes, I was, but I knew how hard Brett and Davey from the Stampede Wrestling days. I knew how hard they worked against each other, and they did not want anyone from the wrestlers to the very last fan to leave the building to think that they got shortchanged or there was a pull punch or they were going easy on each other. So
it didn't look that way.
No, it didn't. I saw at one point in the match, Davey was out on the ringside, and Brett just dove through the ropes, and I think it was over the top rope. And Davey didn't see him, and he's like, "Oh, I like just things like that." You don't see. And when we did see it later, it was like, I didn't see Brett coming when he did that. I was like, oh, God, and it's like, oh, I didn't see that foot coming when he kicked me in the face. And it's like, oh, that's... So I think I know why they both felt it was one of their best hours
matches
in wrestling. Yeah.
Now, I know that the WWE kind of made you a vocal part of the camera that night on screen. Now, what was maybe one of your favorite on-screen times that you can maybe remember with you and your late husband, the great British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith? Maybe your WWE days.
I think my favorite time, I was so nervous at SummerSlam, so I won't say that. I didn't even know I was going to be on camera.
Oh, wow.
Thought it was going to be Sarah Ferguson, the princess. So, I was kind of, but my favorite time was, I think it would be two times. I love that now. I could love all of it because I can never get that back again. But the first one was when Davey came back. It was the SummerSlam in Chicago, and he had been gone from WWE, and his hair was really long and curly, and I was sitting with him at ringside, and a lot of that feeling to be with him again. I ended up getting clotheslined over the rail by Jim Neidhart, but that was
one of your good moments. Look at you. You're up here getting goosebumps, remembering the times. I had a question.
Yeah, the Canadian Stampede, too. That was the other favorite from beginning to end.
I remember that. I'm glad I lived in wrestling where I can remember certain things. I had a question from the chat room said, what really happened between Davey Boy and Dynamite Kid?
They had they truly were like brothers, and they are cousins, grew up in the same street, and Davey's mom was Dynamite Kid's dad's sister. So definitely... And they're just a close family. Davey's grandfather was a boxer, and one of his uncles was a boxer. Anyway, they were in Japan, and they had finished with WWE, and Vince came up to them both in the dressing room, and I'm not sure what Vince was doing over there, but it was in Giant Baba's office, promotion, All Japan. And he approached Tom first. I think Tom was annoyed anyway that Vince was in the dressing room, but he definitely was not a fan of Vince's after he left. When they both left, the Bulldogs left the company. So Vince asked Dynamite if he wanted to when he would like to come back to WWF, and Tom said never, and I think that was basically it. And Vince gave this look. He kind of like made his eyes wide and like, okay. And then a few minutes later, maybe 2 minutes later, probably didn't let much time pass. And knowing the difference in personalities between Davey and Dynamite, they're both passionate and explosive, but Dynamite really has a trigger reflex with some of his comments, and but Davey's was a little more easygoing, and Vince asked Davey in front of everybody, well, hey, Davey, nice to see you. When would you like to come back to the company? And Davey said, well, I'll come back whenever you want me to. And that was what set Tom off. That's what set Dynamite off.
Well, you know what? That's how can you loose lips sink ships, right?
Yeah, he just didn't feel that was appropriate. Davey should have said never, but Davey should be entitled to speak and say what he needs to for the sake of supporting his own family. But at the time, it was just one of those things almost like a husband and wife, and the wife says something to the husband's nemesis or something, and I have it at work too. My boss will say something to one of the customers, and then I'll go over and apologize to the customer, and I'll get in trouble from my boss for going against what he just said. So, but
I know that your time is short.